What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Site Visit down in our East Providence project. Last time we were here, they were setting steel. Now we're here, the steel is up. You can see the steel actually erected behind me. And I want to talk about that really quickly. Everything is shot primed, and you see the 4 posts at basically this level here have some surface rust on it. The reason is there's no primer on that is we're actually going to keep those exposed in the finished home. So we're going to actually clean off that surface rust and probably do some sort of like oil finish. Sculpt Nouveau, I believe, is the product that we were talking about. Now you can see beside me here, we've talked about it on Instagram, we've talked about it in some previous videos, but we have our metal deck installed. This metal deck is to support the concrete slab for the garage. So you can see that concrete guys have formed everything. They got all of their forms to place this slab. It's actually going to be placed today, and this will be our concrete slab for the garage. And we have our rebar, which has been bent into 90 degrees and then drilled and epoxied into the concrete wall. Our slab on metal deck sits across the entirety. It spans from wall to wall, and when the concrete's cured, it actually can span that without a center support. However, when the concrete is being placed, this deck would have a tendency to sag. So our concrete sub actually built a temporary wall below this underneath to support this while the concrete is curing. Like I said, once the concrete is cured, the slab can actually support itself without that center support. We have our welded wire mesh that's spread throughout. Being that this is a corrugated metal deck or a fluted deck or whatever you want to call it, you can actually see here's a cross section of what that looks like typically. So you have your flutes. I get my mic wire hanging out. You got your flutes here, so your concrete's going to sit on top here, and in some sections it's going to be deeper, in some sections it's going to be shallower. And traditionally, if you're doing a 4-inch concrete slab, you'd be measuring from the shallowest point. So in some sections it might be 7 down to 4. Now, those ends could let concrete out. So you can actually see here that they make these small 90s, and they take these and they slide them in the end. And in this case, they've screwed these into the end. So when the concrete is placed and comes around all of these flutes, you're not losing it through that flute down below. That's basically blocking it off. And they'll go around and then they'll fill any other, possible penetrations of where concrete might drop. In this case, it looks like there's no other really holes for that stuff to drop. So they're in a position now where they're ready to place the concrete. Why aren't we backfilling this and then just placing a slab on grade? The reason being, we've talked about before, there is a shop below this. So why don't we go down below? Doug, I'm gonna keep my face on the camera. Do I have to walk backwards all the way? As we walk down here, this is all exposed here. You have this foundation wall. Brian's actually got this comfort board stacked up, blocking the window, but there's a great window in there with a great view of the Providence River. And below here is going to be a shop. Now, I say a shop because it's not part of the envelope of the home. In a previous episode, we talked about where the envelope was. This is just going to be additional quote-unquote living space. It will be tempered by probably a mini split, but outside of the rest of the envelope for the house, but a great space for a workshop, which is what the homeowner wanted. So knowing that, we had 2 options. We could either do a slab on metal deck like we are doing here, or we could have done precast panels. Being that it's a small area, doing precast panels wasn't cost effective. It was less expensive to do the slab on metal deck, which is exactly why we did that. We've had a couple different trades on site. We have had our framer come out and set our sill. We got this pretty funky sill detail. You can actually see, it's an offset sill. We'll talk about this in a future episode, but the reason that this is done like this is because we have doors, we have corner windows, we have a slab that comes up, buries a lot of that detail. At the bottom, and maybe we'll share a photo in this video or a clip of that drawing, you can actually see how low that door is set. So we have a really clean transition between finished floor on the inside and then eventually the patio on the outside. So when we're installing this, now we're going to a very high energy efficiency, basically passive house construction. When we're installing these sill plates, it's really important that we detail our air sealing while this is being installed. You can actually see some of the squeeze out here. You have an acoustical sealant. We're using the Type Bond product. We're actually installing a traditional sill sealer foam gasket. We're putting beads of sealant down first, the foam gasket, and then additional beads of sealant, and then putting this on top, and we're bolting it down. And then you get these nice big washers. Once that's bolted down, that sealant creates a complete seal all the way across the sill to make sure that there's no air leakage below this. And that's really important. We're gonna make sure we do that in all the seams, everywhere. So once this is all put together, there's no air leakage through this, and we'll continue those details all the way up throughout the entire framing. Now that we are down here, you can actually see, the 2-story steel right here. And on the back elevation, this will be the entrance to the basement, and we'll have 2 large sliding doors. Actually, a sliding glass door and corner window unit here, and then the same thing up on the first floor, which will be the main entry. It's like right on the back of me. So in the back here, you can actually see, from the street, it looks like one story of steel, but we have the second story down here, and this is to support the outside corner unit corner glass unit on the basement level, which will have additional living space down here, and a matching unit that goes up top. And then out here, we actually have these galvanized columns, and this will support the future deck. So when you're looking at the back elevation, you've seen it in the rendering, you have glass on both stories with the deck separating the 2 of them. All of the steel gets installed first. We'll bring our framing to everything. The steel is actually inboard. We've talked about this before, is that the steel will actually be inside the living space. So all of our exterior walls will be outboard. A lot of these steel columns will be exposed inside the home. Like I said up there, those will be exposed and actually oiled for a aesthetic finish at the end. But that allows these corner units to not have to have any breaks in them for a structural component, like an outside corner post. Everything is buried inboard. And then we have this post here. The reason that this one's not installed is because it actually sits on top of that foundation wall and goes from that foundation wall all the way up to the ridge beam. So when our framer's on site, he'll have a lull on site. He's going to be helping us set all these large corner windows, all these window units, and he'll be able to tie this thing to the front of the lull and bring that up and then stand it up. Otherwise, it's going to really just be a flagpole, sitting up in the middle of nowhere, similar to this wall. And you can already see how this wall right here is actually supported back to foundation wall. They've actually put an anchor there with a come along, and the same thing on that side to keep this thing from rocking back and forth. Obviously, it's anchored in 4 locations, but we do still have those cables to make sure that everything stays plumb, which we'll have some adjustment during framing, because if we have to shimmy things left and right or up and down, we have the ability to do that. But we want those cables in place to make sure that this thing isn't rocking back and forth while we're working around that. I mentioned that we're going to be placing the slab up there. What I didn't mention is that slab is actually, we're doing a slab on the garage, but we're also doing one in the breezeway. So that center section between the garage and the house is actually a breezeway on that floor, but it's actually the entrance port to the shop from the envelope in here. So you see that brown tarp, that will actually be an exterior wall with an exterior door, and then underneath the breezeway will be part of that shop space. While we're doing that, we also have these footings that we'll be placing. We have some strip footings. This was a coordination item that we worked with guys over at Hazel & Neal, our structural engineer on this job, as well as Julia, our architect, and had to figure out, as far as what was going to go first. Originally we had thought we were going to place this entire slab, on grade first and then do our slab on metal deck, but it actually made sense to do up there. It actually made sense to do our slab on metal deck first, so we could do these footings, and then we'll come back and do this slab on grade at a later point. This right here will allow us to get our framing started, and then our slab on grade actually isn't holding anything up at that point. And it allows us to fine tune that elevation, which we've had to do to make sure that we hit exactly where we need to get that really clean detail with our lower doors. Guys, we appreciate you sticking around. I'm freezing cold. I should have wore a jacket today. Stay tuned for next week's site visit, and make sure you check out the NS podcast as well as the Revealed series.